I'm Zach Snyder.
And I'm Aden Matthews.
And welcome back to another YouTube podcast. The one-stop shop for anything and everything related to YouTube.
The show where I'm feeling kind of cute.
Oh, shit, bro.
I'm just, you know, I'm feeling myself.
Good. You ought to, bro. Honestly, you ought to.
You know, it's at the point where I got a haircut like a week or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, man, it's too short. Don't be looking fresh. But then, like magic, a week or two later, I'm like, all right, this is looking normal again. And then it just proceedingly gets more long to the point where it's unmanageable. Then I get a haircut again. I'm like, you know, this sucks. A week later, comes back to normal. I'm like, okay.
There you go.
So, you know, we're at that happy medium where the hair's not too long, not too short. It's just right.
Hell yeah.
It's just perfect.
No, I get that. I need to get another haircut. It's been a few months. But
you'd be looking like
you'd
be looking like Gerard when he'd be shaving his beard and he'd be on some new completionist or whatever. I'm like, oh, Gerard.
Yeah.
Good, my God, bro.
Yeah, it's always
see
funny.
why the beard and the branding.
Nah, I'm keeping the beard. I do need to trim it though. It's starting to get a little out of hand again. But you know,
I see.
It's fine. Anyways, new episode of another YouTube podcast. What's poppin', guys? We're back. Yeah. Today we're gonna be talking about monetization.
We're all about the money here on another YouTube podcast, and so because of that, we're going over some money guidelines, and not just any particular money guidelines. Directly from the YouTube help page itself, a little chart about gaming and monetization. I know some of you are like, well, wait a minute. I'm not a gamer. Is this episode going to be any helpful for me? And it will be, because it touches on things like profanity, content, whether it's sexually suggestive or not. It'll give you a little bit of an idea of what's monetizable, what isn't, what's the gray area, the in-between. We're going to talk about all that in this episode.
Facts.
So it'll be helpful all around.
Facts. Yeah, a lot of these things are going to be, honestly, can be used for any channel, not just gaming. So get hyped.
But being that me and Zach are epic gamers,
you know,
it fit a little bit better.
Absolutely. Speaking of epic gamers, I know a lot of you epic gamers have been wondering, what's our sponsor today? For the 99th week in a row. Look at that. It's Awesome Creator Academy with the YouTube Starter Kit. If you're getting started on YouTube and you have just a little bit of money to throw around, why not check out the YouTube Starter Kit? For $99, you can get over $1,500 of value and dozens of downloads, from templates for advanced YouTube thumbnails, channel artwork, in cards and lower thirds, to royalty-free background music, fonts, and more. Pay one price and have unlimited access to future downloads as they come out. Check out the link in the description or the show notes, and in doing so, you'll be supporting another YouTube podcast.
But of course, if you don't have $100 because you spend it all on Fortnite skins, you still want to support the podcast, you can become a supporter on Anchor at anchor.fm/another YouTube podcast. You can decide to support us financially at $1, $5, or $10 a month, and we'll read your name on the podcast. Well, we plan to do it for a really long time. Not longer than Fortnite, but, a pretty long. The more financial support we have, the easier it'll be for us to maintain a consistent schedule.
Yay.
Wow.
Yay.
Thank you to the sponsor.
Thank you, as always.
Epic Games.
What was the last Fortnite skin you bought?
I don't buy skins, bro. I've gotten, I think, sub skins with like in-game V-Bucks.
Yeah, that
but
makes sense.
I haven't bought V-Bucks or anything, so. Damn. I don't be spending money. I gotta tell Ethan that every time. He's like, "You're still playing Fortnite?" I'm like, "Yeah." You're part of the problem. And I'm like, "Look, I don't spend no money. The new season starts. Zach asks if I want the battle pass. I get the battle pass, and then that's it.
Yeah,
that's it for me.
Yeah, do be having.
If anything, I should probably spend more money so I don't waste as much time every season trying to level up the normal way. Because my time much more valuable than the $10 I could give to Epic Games right now to speed that process up.
True.
So.
That's how I see it, right? It's like, $10 from the battle pass. Like, that kind of sucks. Actually, it's like $8 now. So that's pretty cool.
Oh.
But like, it's either I spend the $8 and get the better level ups, or I grind at a game that I shouldn't be grinding at and waste my time. Which one's more valuable?
Which is worth more than the $8.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's how I see it. Anyways, speaking of gaming.
Speaking of Fortnite.
Cool.
We got the gaming and gosh dang it. Somebody ringing the doorbell and nobody's home.
Oh,
Wake
no.
up. I'll be right the frick
Who
back.
is it?
All right. Be right back.
Bro, I'm so hyped to find out who it is. It's probably his brother, Ethan.
Okay, never mind.
That's my guess.
It's got the doorbell right as I was screaming. Never mind. We're
You
good.
good? Who is it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Fuck. We're not gonna know.
I'm not looking at the door.
That's unfortunate.
It'll be a mystery to everybody, I guess. Pizza Hut man.
Yo. Well, it's 1 o'clock here.
I'd be getting pizza at noon. But, somebody.
They scheduled the delivery for today. They ordered last night. I was like, all right. Gotta be here at 12:05 on the dot.
Yeah. Ring the doorbell multiple times. Nobody else pick up the door. Anyway, it's your choice whether you want to keep that or cut that. That's up to you.
Oh, it's staying.
It's
It's staying.
The whole thing?
Yeah, the whole thing.
Well then, off to our topic then. Gaming and monetization.
Ooh. Yeah.
Got a little chart here. It starts by saying gaming is a popular topic for videos on YouTube. This page helps creators of gaming videos understand the various monetization statuses that can apply. These aren't new policies, but rather are existing guidelines derived from YouTubers' advertiser-friendly content guidelines. While this page focuses on common themes for gaming videos, remember that all advertiser-friendly content guidelines continue to apply to all of your videos. Violations of the below may result in advertisers choosing to show limited or no ads on your monetized videos. It's always best to check that your videos don't violate YouTube community guidelines, which may also affect their monetization status.
Yeah. So, we've got a lot of different categories. Ranges from profanity to adult content, violence, controversial issues, sensitive events. These are all different categories. We're going to go through them. Obviously, we cannot say some of this stuff verbatim, because not only would I get this video unmonetized, which I mean it already is unmonetized.
It already
also
is.
Probably wouldn't be a good idea for our brand or who we are as individuals to say some of these words. So, probably just point that out. But yeah, I guess let's start with the profanity, because that's a thing that
Inappropriate
people
language.
be wondering, right?
Exactly. What can I get away with? What can I not get away with? That type of shit. And of course, I recommend all of you follow along. The link in the description below. You can check it out as we're reading through it, if you would like.
Agreed.
And so for inappropriate language, it says featuring profanities or inappropriate language in your gaming videos might result in monetization status changes. Here are some examples. Light profanity, the occasional hell or damn,
Yeah.
The biblical variety, for sure. I don't know if your mom would like you saying it, but YouTube, whatever. I don't care. Some of the strong ones, we got the frick word.
Yeah.
The poo poo word.
Yeah.
And the female dog word.
Yeah.
So you got all three of them.
I mean, we say those in the
And then
podcast,
I'm gonna let Zach take the next category.
Yeah. So extreme profanities features. Just go straight into it. These are all words that common sense dictates to not say them. So, yeah, words that are racially charged. Words that are sexually charged, and other kind of slurs. Don't use slurs on the internet.
General offensive stuff.
Yeah, right, exactly.
You can say fuck to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be saying these words to anybody.
Yeah. So it specifies the light, the strong, and the extreme profanities, so that you can see that very specific things on here things that you can turn ads on for. So these are videos that are completely monetizable. If you've got any kind of abbreviated or censored profanities in the title, like WTF, you can do that. You can put what the and then have like an asterisk mark or something to cover up the profanity. Those are fine. And then like light profanities, damn or hell, can be used anywhere in the video or the title even. And then strong profanities can be heard after the first 30 seconds. So don't start your gaming video, or any video for that matter, with a big what the fuck, because it'll get demonetized immediately. Wait till the 30-second mark, and then you can say it as much as you want, apparently.
You could say the F word as much as you want, which I know, very important for your video. Gotta have it in there.
Yeah.
Shit happens. You can say that 30 minutes after the fact.
Yeah.
And you can even be using the F word repeatedly throughout the entire video, and it'll still be fine, but only after the 30-second mark. And keep in mind with this category too that some brands might not opt in to run ads.
This is true.
Some might be like, you know what, I'm good. Very rare cases, and probably not to a noticeable extent, but something to be aware of at least. With the light category, pretty much any brand is gonna be like, yeah, cool, do what you want.
Yeah, and extreme profanity shouldn't be used at all in this. I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
No company gonna sponsor that in general. So, especially not on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. You can turn on ads like Aden said, but some brands will opt out if you have like exceptions to this. So you have what the fuck inside of the title, but then like only one of the letters is censored. That's not going to be okay. And yeah, you can say it within the first 30 seconds, but some people just like Pepsi probably won't give you money. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
If I had to guess. Well, even like I don't know if it was TubeBuddy, or I think it's TubeBuddy, but like they'll straight up tell you if you have like a word in the title or the description that's like, you probably shouldn't.
I think it's TubeBuddy and vidIQ both have those now, so they'll help you out with that kind of stuff, which is good.
They're not always 100%. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, YouTube isn't going to care if I put this in, but some of the more obvious ones, it'll be a nice little reminder. It'll highlight for you and be like, hey, probably shouldn't put this in.
Yeah.
All the Dark Souls LHG videos, a specific word in that always gets highlighted, and I can't change them because they are the running joke of the series. But that's an easy one you can go back and look at. And TubeBuddy's like, hey, don't put that in the title.
What was this on LHG or was this your personal?
Yeah. The LHG.
What did I do?
The title is for them. They're wacky.
Let me check it out right quick. It's been a while.
Zach don't even remember.
Oh yeah.
In live reaction.
Yeah, that's probably not okay. For context,
there's no alternate.
We named our character in Dark Souls Pussy Smasher with 2 R's. And yeah, it's not recommended. Don't do that.
But it's for LHG, so
it's for whatever. A channel that we don't care about that much, so it's fine.
Not changing them.
Nah.
Which leads, speaking of pussy,
yeah,
lead right into our next category, adult content.
Yeah.
Now, being that I am a minor, I can't really say much about this one. But Zach, being the fact that he's 30, has a lot more adult experience, I'd say. So
yeah.
Give us a bit of a rundown.
Not 30, but for adult content, you can turn ads on content if you're talking about things that aren't inherently sexual completely. So sexually suggestive stuff like talking about going to the gynecologist, which Aden is very familiar with.
Yeah. I'm on a very good working relationship. It's nice.
Fuck. Regular romantic scenes, such as an affectionate kiss between characters, that's fine. Non-focal or non-arousing portrayal of limited clothing in an appropriate setting. Why didn't they just put swimsuits, bro? Like, they're talking about, like, people in a pool, swimsuits, that kind of thing. And then...
Mean Girls.
Mean Girl, right? If you have like limited clothing, but it's still covering up the naughty bits, you'll be fine. If there is any kind of nudity at all, it has to be completely censored to where you can't even tell that they got certain parts, I guess. And then that's really it. So anything that's not graphic is fine. Certain brands will opt out though if you have sex toys in the video or you're talking about them. If any kind of implied sex acts are happening, movement under a blanket or moaning, and then sexual topics referenced in gameplay. So, any kind of topics that are being mentioned in a video game, or even if you're just talking about them. And then if you have like 18 plus or adults only in the title, some brands won't opt in. That also includes like partially censored naked bodies, such as silhouettes, where you can like tell who it is or what it is, and then depiction of any kind of sexually body parts that are like minimally covered, I guess. You're not. Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just agreeing with
you. Yeah. And then you're not gonna get any ads if like anything goes above that, right? People are having actual sex at their strip clubs. If you include jerk off compilation or hot sex in your title.
I love that. That's an example.
It's on the article. So I'm not pulling this out of my ass. It's on the article.
This on the YouTube support page. It just says in parentheses the jerk off compilation, bro.
Yeah.
That's wacky.
Also, any discussion of fetishes, a video thumbnail with any kind of sexual content, animal mating. If you include a couple animals, fucking, that's a no-go. That makes sense. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
A lot of this stuff, I think, isn't really like a thing on YouTube. I mean, sure, you get the occasional person that be trying to film porn and then
you'll
put
be
it on
surprised.
YouTube and call it a day, and some of it stays up.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, unless you were Philly D back in the day, we very much have seen a decline in using scantily clad women and sexy topics to try to get people to click on videos.
Agreed.
It still works. I have no doubt about it. But like on YouTube specifically, like that sort of trend has sort of phased out. But in case you needed to be reminded what you can get away with, I guess that's fine. Sometimes you got to talk about the kissing booth too. And if these guidelines weren't in place, I wouldn't be able to, but now I can. So
no, that gets taken out because of violence.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
No, I guess like the main important one from this is like if you're covering any kind of like rated R movies or mature games, anything of that sort, make sure that if you include any kind of footage from those movies or games that include any kind of sexual content, that you are censoring it, because they could be non-monetizable.
Blurring it's the easiest way I found, but you could also put like some little black bars.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do. Next up, though, we got violence. Oh,
you're very in tune with violence.
Absolutely.
You might not get it from the podcast, but Aden's a fucking animal, bro.
Off air, bro. Don't fuck with me. If I'm on a YouTube video, I'll keep it civil. But outside of YouTube, I just have violent anger issues. So what can I record on screen then? It's a very good question. So for ads, you can have graphic violence, such as gory attacks with visible impact, severe injuries with blood shown throughout the normal course of gameplay, or censored clips of graphic violence, such as the moment of a kill. And it says here, violence that occurs as part of unedited video gameplay, mild violence, minimal blood, dead bodies that are fully censored, blurred, prepared for burial, or shown in historical events like wars as part of an educational video. Because, sometimes, right, you can't fight it, You're going to kill a zombie in a video game, zombie going to die. That's part of the normal gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Civil War footage, it's eventually just going to show up in there. But definitely as it gets further into it, depending on how much detail you be showing, that's when brands are like, you know what? You kind of passed the line here. So here is brands that can opt out, or sort of second category here. When there is edited video gameplay emphasizing graphic violence or gore, I just call it Mortal Kombat, bro. You're zooming in, you're focusing on said violence, you're getting details in there.
Yeah.
You're showing more than just the typical dead body. It's a little gross. It's a little ew, a little nasty. You wouldn't show your 3-year-old, you know? There's just a rule of thumb. Just a rule of thumb. Wouldn't want to show a kid. And then finally, you know, be decapitating somebody. You know, don't be putting that on YouTube. Just a guess. Simple, extreme fatalities, that type of shit. There ain't gonna be no ads on that.
Yeah. I did want to mention on the overall advertiser-friendly content guidelines, because there is a bigger document that I just realized. It talks about more specific violence outside of video games. Obviously, all the video game stuff that we just talked about relates to movies as well. If you're showing any kind of movie footage, keep that in mind. When it comes to like realistic violence, like people were actually fighting and you see a lot of like gore and blood, that's going to be a no-no usually, in general. And then like, unless it's being used for an educational manner where like maybe you're showing like some MFA fights, that'll probably be in the ads can opt out category. If you're talking about dead bodies and you're showing that in the context of educational, usually that would be fine, but it'll be in the opt out category. If you're showing anything like brutal in real life, it will probably just get taken down. Similar to porn, right? In general, yeah. But also ads won't be on it.
Good rule of thumb for the educational stuff too is the closer you lean toward recent stuff, the more likely it'll be seen as less advertiser friendly. Where if you go back a substantial 50 or so years, just it'll be a little bit easier to kind of throw into that like educational thing and be able to get away with some of that.
Yeah, for sure.
But even still, there are limits with that too. You know, can't be showing no decapitation. Can't be like killing a homie straight up. Gotta watch out for that stuff.
Probably should do that in general, but you know.
You know, real life, I guess.
Yeah.
Real life.
Cool.
All of which I do off camera.
All of it.
All that violent stuff. That's me. 100%.
Yeah.
In case you were curious.
Cool. Speaking of controversial issues, that's our next topic. Basically, with controversial issues, this one's a little weird, but you can turn ads on for content that mentions brief or fleeting references to any of the topics in the no ads column, which we'll get to in a second. Meaning that if you want to talk about the word suicide in a video game context, such as killing the game character in order to restart the game or anything like that, that's fine. If you want to talk about an eating disorder in the context of, I don't know. I didn't really come up with one. Context of your own.
Like your own personal story?
Maybe, but I think even then that's going to be in an off ads. They don't even have like they even like have like not available for brands can opt out of it. So basically, if you are focusing on graphic or detailed descriptions of any of these controversial issues, ads will probably be turned off. This includes child abuse, pedophilia, child marriage, sexual abuse, sexual harassment, self-harm, suicide, eating disorders, domestic abuse, abortion, and bullying. Bullying is an interesting one.
Yeah. Like 90% of those, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. And the bullying, the funny one.
Yeah. That's the only funny one. Yeah.
For sure.
Again,
makes you wonder about Mr. Keemstar, for sure. I don't know where that applies.
You would think his entire channel would be taken down by now.
Based off these guidelines, yeah.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like if you mention these in like a offhand nature and it's important to the context of what you're talking about without going into detail, you're fine. Most of these, like, there's no reason for you to mention them anyways unless you're talking about a story. And in that instance, ads are most likely going to be cut off.
Do you think this is just me and then labeling, I guess,
Mhm.
but I feel like this category should have been called sensitive events, and the sensitive events category should have been called controversial issues.
You would think.
Because when I think controversial issues, I'm thinking like, George Bush did a no-no, but like
Yeah.
that's not under controversy. And the stuff that is things that are like sensitive for other people to talk about.
It's weird.
It's just a weird way how they labeled this. But yeah, sensitive events is the next category, the last one on here. And it basically is just like, you know, more along the lines of like current events type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you can turn on ads if you passively mention a sensitive event. You bring up a little 9/11 in a video for reference point. You'll be fine, probably. And then for the second category, you can turn on ads, but only brands who opt in will run ads. So you're getting some verbal mentions. You're showing it visually. You're putting some footage up. And the example they have is joking about ISIS groups in a gameplay. Oh,
cool.
Man, they shouldn't watch the Undertale verses then. There's a lot of that coming in that series. So, we might have to cut that out in the edit. I'll have to let Jay know about that one.
Yeah.
And then finally, you should turn off ads for this content. Games based on an actual sensitive or tragic event that happened. I'm going to just say in general.
Yeah.
If you be finding one of these games, just don't play it. Just don't even bother. Don't even bother. Not only for like the video, but like for your own sanity. Like
I agree.
Don't bother.
I agree. To go a little bit deeper, the bigger article also mentions like you can turn on ads, like any kind of fleeting references to anything, basically, terrorist acts, tragic events, that kind of thing. Just means that that's not the focal point. For example, if you briefly say, in next week's video, we'll be discussing declining cases of terrorist attacks. That would just be a fleeting moment. And then like turning off ads if you have any kind of like footage to terrorist attacks like 9/11 or armed conflict or any kind of other tragic event that resulted in a lot of human lives, like mass shootings or drug trades or anything like that. There's going to be no ads. So
in general, it's a better idea to like not even attempt to put ads on a video of this nature in general.
Morally standing, I think you have, you probably shouldn't do it. The thing this is going to hit the most people is with news channels. But I think you could do it in a way that, like, number one, you probably shouldn't even monetize that anyways, if that's going to be the main content of your episode. And then two, like, don't actually show footage. It's probably the best thing there.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then finally it gives a little section at the bottom here about like thumbnails and titles. So everything we just applied to like video stuff, that's also true for the SEO side of things. What you write in the title, what you highlight in a thumbnail, the words you use, whether it's caps lock or not, what you decide to highlight, basically, in said thumbnail or title. All these things we just talked about. Can't just be putting epic 9/11 fatality wins in a title.
No, probably shouldn't
expect it to get ads. It's not going to.
This is true. This is very true. A couple of other things that like we didn't mention because they weren't in the gaming section. Any kind of shocking content will probably be taken off. So if you're like using any kind of like real body parts or liquids or anything like that, where it's meant to shock people, any kind of medical procedures that might be shocking, accidents, animal preparation or eating that's intended to shock, anything like that, your ads could be taken down. Same thing for like harmful or dangerous acts, which means like they even include pranks or challenges. Even like the ice bucket challenge is considered like, well, no, that one seems to be fine. Okay. But any kind of like major pranks or challenges or anything to do with like tobacco that includes like vaping or anything like that, that's going to be taken down. Medical misinformation, you're not getting any ads on that either. Talking bad about people, Keemstar, probably won't get ads if you're personally attacking somebody, slandering or defaming somebody. And then when it comes to like firearms and drugs, glorifying the use of those things, showing how to. It even says like recommendations of top gun manufacturers, like 15 best gun shops. You're not getting any ads on that, so keep that kind of in mind. Those kind of things are going to be not monetizable.
And keep in mind, like with all of this stuff, these are guidelines, and obviously, for most videos, it'll be like a case by case basis. Like,
Yeah.
depending on what your video is about, how you talk about said topic, what you decide to show. It could at first not have ads, but it could also be reviewed and be like, no, this is fine, or this isn't fine.
Right.
Just because you upload a video and you have ads to start with doesn't mean that at a later point in date someone can't look over that and be like, yeah, no, and then take ads off. That's why these are guidelines. There's like the general gist, but not 100% like for sure this could happen. Because like we've mentioned, like I'm sure we've mentioned, is people, I'm sure you've listened to this and like, I know a YouTuber who got away with that and had an ad. Yeah, it happens a lot of the time.
A lot of times.
Doesn't mean you should be doing it.
Yeah, exactly. The way that the algorithm works is that you upload a video, YouTube's algorithm literally looks at every frame of your video and it tries to pull out this kind of content. So anything that's super noticeable, it's the AI is going to find it and, do something with your monetizable status. With that said, if you think that it's wrong, then you should be applying for a review. You should be asking for a manual review. If you get away with something, then that can happen occasionally, but you shouldn't try to get away with things. I think the only thing that a lot of people are worried about is the profanity thing, right? I think that's usually the 90% of people.
The big one.
And we've already talked about how you can get away with profanity in your content. Just don't use it in the first 30 seconds. You're usually okay.
Yep.
So.
Oh, and slurs. Don't
use slurs. I know. Streamers and YouTubers have a problem with that one. Don't know why.
You just slipped out, bro. I was playing Fortnite. Just so happened.
Yeah.
In the moment. It was nuts.
Yeah. Everything else is pretty
self-explanatory. Don't post it on YouTube.
You don't want to.
I feel like nobody is gonna have an issue with adult content. Nobody is gonna have an issue with like child abuse being monetized. Like, like of course it's not.
That stuff is for Vimeo, anyways.
That's a Vimeo exclusive. Daily Motion, actually. Daily Motion doesn't have any of these guidelines. You can just post whatever the fuck you want. Do whatever you want, bro. You can have all these in a Daily Motion video and still be fine. You can probably make money off of it somehow.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
This is true.
I want to briefly mention, now that we're kind of done talking about these, is some people, and just based off my cadence, you probably know my opinion on this, but some people take issue with some of these guidelines and put it under the censorship of my free speech. You were censoring my art.
Yeah.
You can't do that according to the First Amendment or whatever. Censor my art. The fuck word in the first 30 seconds is integral to my message. And by not advertising it, you're ruining my business.
We talking about McJugger Nuggets again?
I could be in this case. I could be. I didn't have him in mind, but now that you mention it, it all kind of clicks together.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a pattern. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, like, YouTube is a platform in which you don't have to pay a single dime to upload a video. You don't have to pay for web hosting or video hosting. You don't have to pay for community support. You don't have to pay to even get monetized to begin with. You can upload everything for free and get all of your videos monetized without spending a single cent. So that's pretty dope. If you don't like their rules, then that's
Join
just
Storyfire.com.
too bad.
Video hosting.
Yeah, Storyfire is back, everybody. I know we said that we were done, but they're back. So that's cool. You can go join Storyfire and make McJuggernuggets more money. That's what you want to do.
Take your porn videos to Storyfire.
Now that I'm advocating.
Just see what happens, bro. We don't know.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? It's just, there's a lot of, like, I don't like using the word entitled much unless it actually, like, is somebody that's entitled. And there's a lot of YouTubers that are entitled because they think they should be able to do whatever they want on YouTube. And that's just not the case. You know, just, it's like when you were younger and you used to get upset at your parents because they told you a rule in the house and you were like, but I want to go out at midnight. Well, you can't. Under our house, it's our rules. Like, if you don't like the rules, leave.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
You're living under the house rent free.
Exactly.
So. Yikes.
You could always go try to make your own version of YouTube. You know? Like, it's going to cost you a shit ton of money, but, like, hey, if you really want to, you can do it. It's not going to go anywhere.
You want to say the F word within the first 30 seconds on your platform, you can do that.
You will
That's
fail.
the power you hold.
But, you know.
or hell. Yeah, damn hell, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever word you want. So, yeah, like, case wasn't obvious. Like, I agree. I don't buy the argument that that these rules in any such way are censoring any particular creator. I will say that in the past, and I'm glad this chart exists now, but in the past they have been kind of a little intentionally vague. To the point where, you know, we didn't even know in some cases what those rules were. We can make assumptions and generalizations about what these rules might be. But I really like the fact that this is now here because a problem that YouTube has had in the past is like, yeah, we're going to unmonetize you and not tell you why. And we really don't have like a great set of list and resources to use to find out why you were even unmonetized in the first place. Now that this is here, I feel a lot better about it, but that was an issue for a good period of time, is YouTube didn't communicate any of this shit pretty well.
Yeah, no, it's I think can go back as soon as 2019 and say that some of this is YouTube's fault because they haven't been clear with their practices and their guidelines. But like 2020, 2021, at this point now, like, they are very open about a lot of things. You just got to go to the help center and look at these articles. And
they're all there.
It's all there. It's all there. YouTube's even telling you more like about how to make your videos better. Like they have resources. Use them.
Absolutely. And keep in mind too, like, we say all this and we mention all these rules, but again, this is only for monetizing your content. You can still post a video and break these rules. You're not going to have ads on it, and it might not be good depending on some of the shit you include, but you can still post it. You're still free to post whatever you want. And also, like we mentioned before as well, while monetization is important and can get you some money on YouTube, it is not the only way to make money on YouTube.
Yeah.
If you'd rather find a different way to fund your content, then you get a lot more freedom about what you can and can't talk about. If you're the type of person making those historical documentaries, if you're the type of person working on news and current event stuff, the current monetization rules don't like play to your favor a lot of the time. And that's where having something like merch or Patreon or other ways to support your income is good, because if ads on YouTube were the only way, then yeah, it could be kind of disheartening a little bit, but it's not, thankfully, and you have plenty of other options. If for whatever reason you have to say the fuck word in the first 30.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
It's funny
though.
To me. It just is.
It's really funny. It's really funny that there is a specified guideline that says, yeah, don't say fuck in the first 30 seconds, bro. You'll be fine.
31 seconds? Absolutely.
Yeah.
30, don't you dare. Don't you fucking dare, bro.
But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, unless you're not doing anything illegal, like, don't do illegal things on YouTube. You can still pretty much post just about anything. And there are other ways to make money if it actually is integral to your content. You know, YouTube money isn't all there is, and usually it's not all that it's cracked up to be either. A lot of people that make a lot of money from YouTube are doing different things. So, yeah, that's
this
important.
This is more of like
to mention,
because I doubt 90% of the people listening to this podcast even have ads.
Yeah,
but it is a good bit of a like, hey, if the plan is in the future to get your channel and your content to a point where ads can run on it, it's important to know the guidelines. And that's why you, even with Yin, have kind of already started acting as if your videos could be monetized. And having guidelines is a good way to do that.
At episode 1, I started following a lot of these guidelines to begin with, just because like eventually I want it to be monetizable. And so if I get monetized and then half of my catalog isn't monetized, well, that's on me. Like, that was my fault. But yeah, I
do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think every episode of Yin will be? If you had
they should be. Like, maybe the one where I promoted my OnlyFans and showed graphic nudity, that might not be okay.
Right.
Other
well,
than
I mean,
that.
I mean, like the Deadpool episodes. I mean, like, you know, stuff that kind of skirts, but not quite reaches that point.
Some of the movies that I talked about could potentially be unmonetized. Whenever I do another Final Destination video and I do it under Yen, that probably will not get, that probably won't get monetized if I show like the deaths in that movie. But I think most of them, 99% of them, should absolutely be monetized.
Well, there you go.
Hopefully I didn't say fuck in the first 5 seconds.
There's a lot of good comedic intros on the end. So, yeah.
But I've been censoring that word out anyway, so I should be fine.
With the funny ha-ha sound.
Yeah. Little rubber ducky.
And that's what I like too, is like these guidelines are a thing, but you've always kind of used them for a comedic effect a lot of the time, especially with that opening screen of the rating or whatever.
Yeah.
Classic.
I'm like, there might be what do I say? Let me pull it up specifically, because
occasional bad words or something.
Occasional bad words and something related to PPs or something.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, here it is. I got the following episode of Zack Snyder's Your Everyday Nerd has been edited in compliance with YouTube's dumb standards. The episode uploaded has been rated PG-13. Parents strongly caution not suitables for babies. Bad words that are bleeped out and PP jokes. Then I say subscribe to you and like the episode. It just shows up for like 2 seconds. Yeah.
It's a wonderful little screen. But like being able to still make you in the way you want in compliance with the guidelines and have fun with it is something I see a lot of YouTubers do in the way they bleep out words or choose to comedically blur. I can't count how many times Super Mega has like either drawn a penis or tried to show one and have to immediately find like a quirky little workaround for it, and it's always fucking funny.
Yeah.
It's always a great joke. Every time.
Yeah. It's talking about 2 characters having sex and a holiday, and I think I did like some quirky thing where it wasn't Schrodinger's Frick. Yeah, that came out because of that movie.
I love that so fucking much.
There's ways to get around it and still make it entertaining.
It's limiting for sure, but a lot of the stuff was already off the table anyway. And what is here that could potentially be limiting can be used to make your content better.
100%.
Which I guess I should, just because I don't know when we're ever going to get a chance to talk about this, but like profanity on YouTube in general.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it is sort of a big thing. My mom always been the proponent of like, you can make anything without there being a swear word in there.
Yeah.
And I know that mainly just comes from her not wanting me to say said fuck word on YouTube video. But she got a point, you know,
she do.
in a larger grand scale thing. But I don't know. I feel like in a lot of the sense, it's like if I have to think about whether or not I'm saying the F word in any particular video, and that's what I sound like. That's who Zach knows off call, right? Like I be swearing occasionally. I feel like it'd make a video worse potentially if I'm having to,
it can
think that far ahead.
I think, I know personally, like, one of the reasons that I changed up yin to begin with, or I worked on these guidelines to begin with, wasn't even because of YouTube, it was because of my family. Because I started noticing that, like, some of my siblings were, like, watching my content. I preferred for them not to hear me curse. So, I, bleeped shit out. But then, you got the YouTube podcast. Obviously, I'm not centering myself here. Other forms of content that I do, any kind of Lions Aren't Gaming shit, like I'm very open with what I say.
Lions Aren't Gaming might be the worst of all our channels. Just shit that will never be monetized ever in a million years. And that's cool. That's fine.
I think profanity is a double-edged sword. I think it can make things funnier or more entertaining, and then other times I think like there's definitely no reason why it need to be said at all. I think it's a case-by-case issue. I think some people can get away with finding a way around it and other people can't. It's weird. It's definitely weird.
Definitely like the delivery plays a key part into it as well.
It does. Like
I've had several that 130 for 30 intro where like Angry Aiden storms it is like, bro, what the fuck? Where's the new 30 for 30 at? Like that,
Yeah.
Like that's the character. That's the joke. He's loud. He's obnoxious. Dude, bro, what the fuck, whatever. Like, cool. But in some videos, did I really be needing to say dead ass multiple times? Like, probably not. Probably not.
Oh, yeah, probably not.
LHG, absolutely. Every dead ass is
dead ass is funny as fuck. Delivery is super important, right? Because like, I've gotten to the point where I can deliver a frick and make it just as funny, if not funnier than fuck. And I've heard other content creators do the same thing. Like I watch a lot of Northern Lion, and before 2017. Or before 2018, I think, this dude used cursing very liberally. He did not care. But then he wanted to make sure his shit was, like, monetizable. So he stopped cursing. And so it catches me off guard if he uses, like, an actual curse word. And it can make that situation funnier. It can also make it, like, a little weird. Because, like, I've been so used to you saying things a different way to where it's still funny. So yeah, it's not necessary for sure, but the delivery is there. Like
that's what I'll say about like yin, especially is like, yes, Zach be swearing off yin, when camera not rolling, Zach be saying the fuck word occasionally. Breathe in and out. Do your yoga, do some meditation.
Can't believe
deliberate
that,
on it for as long as you need to. But what I will say is, like, the Zach that is featured in Yin, even if it's scripted and even if it bleeps out some cuss words, is not a different Zach that I know in call and in person. You've done a very good job of, like, having that very specific Zach brand of humor and cadence in Yin, without having swear words in it at all, and that's commendable. For sure.
Thanks, man. I mean, honestly,
it hadn't ruined a yin, for me.
Honestly, like a big part of that is just my personal life too. Like, I didn't say a curse word until I was in 6th grade, and then, like, even then, I do not curse around my family. There's certain people that I just do not use these words around, and so I've gotten used to it. I can be with my friends 1 minute cursing up a storm because it's important to the conversation, and then go home and not have to say a word at all. So, it's also a personality thing. I know some people grew up cursing a lot and they're like, I say the fuck word every single day exactly a minute to the hour. I'm like, cool, bro.
All
What's
right,
happening?
cool.
But
I didn't know you'd written it down that much.
yeah, I think it's a personal thing too. Some people see it as, taboo to use those words, and that's definitely how I grew up. But obviously,
Like
I
other
don't
people like
think
Gary Vee, I
that.
couldn't imagine what
Oh
like Gary
yeah.
Vee would look like.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
just didn't. He just didn't swear.
Well, did you know he has a like family friendly Gary Vee channel? I found this out recently. He
Oh,
has one where he like somebody goes in and censors all the cursing. And I'm like,
wow,
that's
really?
cool. Yeah, yeah.
I
I
didn't
think
know
I
that.
think that's neat because like if you have a message that you want to share with your family or something, but they don't like the language, then you can just share that video. I might still get annoyed by all the beeping, but like, you know, it's usually
If it
not
works, it
too bad.
works.
Yeah. Um I don't think he's uploaded to it in a couple months. So I don't know how long he plans on keeping that around, but he's involved in so many things. But you're right. You're right. Like somebody like him, it is hard to watch his content and imagine it not being there. Almost doesn't drive the point across as well. Um, but I mean, we've watched TV for so long. Like there are a lot of people. Freaking. What do you think of when you think of Steve Harvey? Besides
Family Feud.
memes, Family Feud, right? Like a family centered program to where he
Even that
can't use
show be
bad
getting away
words.
with some categories of
I would be
some
getting away with some weird stuff, yeah.
I
But
don't know what
like,
Mr. Harvey and company are doing over there a lot of the time.
but the funny thing is, like, Steve Harvey used to like be a stand-up comedian, and he would just use profanity, and eventually, like, he stopped using it to get certain jobs. Robin Williams is another one. He used to have some of the filthiest stand-up, and a lot of people remember him as like a family actor.
Well, I picture like even an Eddie Murphy or Chris Rock. And it's like
Right, those two,
I don't
yeah,
think of swearing when I think of them. I think of like Marty from Madagascar. I know,
yeah,
or like Haunted Mansion, Eddie Murphy
yeah.
or Donkey, like characters that don't swear, and if they do, it's very infrequent. But no,
Mhm.
you can go back and be like, oh dear God,
Yeah,
bro, like
Eddie Murphy
chill.
stand up. I mean, I recommend Eddie Murphy stand up. Some of his stand up is great. But he be using a couple of words that he probably shouldn't have used on stage.
Yeah,
Um, but
different time, I guess.
yeah,
Different time. I will say too, as well, um, that especially for the type of shit that me and you do a lot of the time, where it's like media analysis and media review stuff.
hmm
Going into a review and saying something like the acting in this is ass isn't as helpful to the video, even if it is funny,
yeah,
as like actually describing your issues with said acting. I can
yeah.
say
I agree.
I fucking despise this mechanic in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but that only gets you so far. It's reactionary. Gets people interested. Maybe
Yeah,
they like the shock value. But unless you go on to like properly explain it, it doesn't really mean anything. So I know a lot of the times in reviews that like a lot of the time I'll call a mechanic ass or something like that, but it's like that's really just a crutch for not having a proper explanation or good enough writing to properly like describe what you do and don't like about a piece of media. So I know for like a lot of analysis stuff like that, it can be kind of helpful to sort of know what you mean, especially if you use curse words as kind of a catch-all for a lot
yeah.
of different things.
I mean, there's some truth in cursing can hurt your vocabulary. Now, I'm not 100% agreeing with it. But I think when you're, especially in terms of making content, where you have to get across certain points in a smaller amount of time, like it can absolutely hurt the actual review, especially when I'm like writing scripts. I mean, usually like if I place a curse word, it's very deliberate. Like it's like saying something is ass. Like I have had to have already described why it's ass before I end it off with, yeah, so in other words, this is ass. right?
Yeah.
Um,
Because otherwise it doesn't mean anything. It's just
Yeah.
like funny in the moment, and it's like a joke or a shock value thing, but like you're not going to remember that. You know, you're going to remember the complaints and what actually fueled that outburst a lot of the time.
yeah. No,
Which
I
is where
mean,
something like
right.
like an AVGN type character of like can miss a lot of the time is like,
I agree.
okay, you called a game poopy diarrhea caca, but unless you've actually gone into depth as to why you feel that way, the outburst at the end in the rant doesn't mean nothing, and that's what a lot of the ripoffs like failed to consider. They just like, oh, swearing, cool, but
I can do that.
it's the other part. You know, you gotta have both. You gotta have both to make something like that work.
Yeah.
And that's a tough balance.
It's like early PewDiePie. Like I still can't watch that because a lot of it is just him yelling and swearing. It's like, cool, I'm getting nothing out of this. And there's a lot of YouTubers that I've turned off because their entire shtick is I'm gonna yell and swear. It's like, cool, bro. What else do you have to bring to the table? Even like Game Grumps, which is known for, Aaron yelling and swearing. And I haven't watched them in a while, personally. But even then, like, when I watched them frequently, it was because they usually had funny stories to tell, or they were, the reactions to the games were, were entertaining. It didn't come down to the fact that, they may have been swearing a good bit.
Right. It's not the focal point a lot of the time. It was a little bonus, an added element to it, but not the reason you came to watch it anyway. So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. Am I gonna like stop swearing in videos? Probably not. It'll be a thing where like I'll say what I want to say, and if I'm editing it, I'm like, well, did it really have to be this? And then I might cut it out and do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
But I have no problem with the way you do it either, because that's a really good approach a lot of the time, and definitely more sustainable long term.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Cursing can still be funny. Like, I can still laugh my ass off because somebody said a particular word in a certain way about a certain thing. So, I go both ways with it.
Like anything, it's a case by case thing for sure.
Exactly. I guess thank you everybody for listening to the episode. I hope our discussions on profanity and all these guidelines helped you out a little bit, figure out what you need to change or adapt for your channel. I know that kind of stuff is, at least for me, I know things are always changing, always adapting. So hopefully go check out this article. And I'll leave both articles, the full one and the gaming one, which we focused on more. And that way you guys can check it specifically. Other than that, I think we're good. Like, we don't have any comments because we just recorded the last episode. But if you do have any,
if you wanted replies to that,
yeah, you have any comments, please hit us up in the YouTube description, or you can email us at anotherytpodcast@gmail.com. That'd be cool. Appreciate that.
Love people who write in, tell us stuff, anything. Topics,
Absolutely.
suggestions, whether, you know what, if you're making a video and you're like, I was going to include this, but I'm not sure it's advertiser friendly or not, me and Zach could look over it and be like, you know what, yeah, what do you think? If you need help with that sort of stuff, we're here.
Yeah, for sure.
Not professionals or anything, but sometimes getting a different perspective on it can help a lot of the time.
Oh, absolutely.
I want, like, I know sometimes, a lot of the time, we ask in comments for, like, topics, suggestions, that sort of stuff. But, like, I'm more than willing to be creative problem solver for a little bit. If you have, like, issues regarding, like, editing, technical stuff, your content, creatively, you want just a second opinion or, like, a thought on a particular piece of content or strategy, like, I'd be happy to just talk shit with Zach and try to figure out your problem. It'll be on air and live. So
yeah.
Be sure you want other people to hear it, but
I completely
more
agree.
than happy to do that.
Yeah, like, I mean, when we ask for comments, like, I'm 100% okay with that kind of stuff. Now, obviously, don't put your video down there and be like, yo, what did you guys think of this? Because, like, I'm not going to watch your video and do that on air. But if you have, like, a very specific problem or situation that you're trying to find a solution for, and you're willing to wait like 2 weeks for the answer,
For the next episode.
yeah, like feel free to hit us up, because I'd love to do some of that. It'd be fun. But yeah, I've been Zach.
And I've been Aden.
And thank you for listening to this episode of Another YouTube Podcast.
Peace.
Bye. So anyways, thinking about including the fuck word in my videos again.
Oh.
But like, I'll start the video off with it. I'll say it for 30 seconds straight just to spite the YouTube algorithm. And then I won't use it anymore. Yeah.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's great. I think
Great
that
strategy,
would work.
I think.